Welcome to the Disguise podcast. Welcome to our podcast. My name is Addy Ghani. I'm the Vice President of Virtual Production, and it is my pleasure to host our very first guest, David Monguet. David is the founder and Chief Technology Officer of MO&MO Film Services. He is behind the production of many successful films like A Monster Calls, Society of the Snow, and Berlin. Today, we're going to talk about virtual production and filmmaking, where it is at the moment, and the exciting part for me, where it's headed. I think we're at the very tip of the iceberg. You and I sort of talked a little bit about your past and how you even ended up doing virtual production, let alone becoming one of the most experts in virtual production. Walk us through maybe your early adulthood and then where you are today and that journey.
Okay. I like to set two films, one in the past, one in this month. It's A Monster Calls and The Society of the Snow, same director, J. Bayona. A Monster Call was my very first film using rear screen projection. For me, it was the first time I worked in films.
Yeah.
It was in 2014, and 9 years later, we work another time with the same director in The Society of the Snow using virtual production.
And you know, what I find fascinating about your life and your passion, which is, highest end of filmmaking, tier one films with some of the most talented directors, cinematographers. Walk us through what it's like working with them on set. How are they like? Are they very demanding? Are they very creative?
It depends. A lot of DOPs or directors that they never shoot in virtual production or in camera VFX in a volume or small screens. Some of them are asking constantly.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, really? I can. Yeah, of course. You can light with the video, with the same. You need to adjust, as you know, greens and magentas on the panels, but you can.
It's almost like, oh, that's another tool rather than I don't want to do it.
Yes.
Right. They're always enthusiastic about
Some of them know they want to use practical lights as always.
Yeah.
And it's hard to understand that you can use video to light. But others said, okay.
Yeah.
Let me try this.
Would you say a DP or a cinematographer would have to go through 1 to 2 days of shooting, 6 months of shooting in order to understand what it really all is?
When they saw the light in the camera, they know if it works or not.
Instantly?
Yeah. They say, okay, good. Sometimes I said, do you have a minus green or a plus green?
Yeah.
Put it in front of the panel and you have your correct light.
Right.
Not digitally corrected, with a real filter.
And these are the things we never really see or hear about, is that the actual on-set tips, tricks, and hacks that I'm sure you're going through day in and day out.
Yeah. One of the tips or tricks we use from the very beginning is to use the panels for lighting.
Yeah.
Just small squares. If you want to color, for example, a Monster Calls, we use a red light for a traffic light directly in the panel. Or if you need backlight or side lights, wherever, you can use small squares with the same screen.
Yeah. I think what you're talking about in the U.S. we call light cards. So talk us through the use of light cards on set and how is the process? Does a director or DP call for a light card, then you build it?
Yes, the DP asks to put something on the screen because he needs to feel the actor or a hard backlight or whatever, or the main light also. He asked what he can do, and I show you.
Yeah.
I use the server, I put some white squares we can cut, diffuse or whatever, and adjust the color temperature, the tint directly. So it's really good.
That's amazing. And one thing I actually didn't know about you is how much of an expert disguise operator you are. Walk through us the history of you and Disguise together.
I started to work in broadcasting big shows in Spain using another media server with my lighting console, lighting and video together. And for many years, I used another media servers, and I started to hear about these guys, and people told me about these guys. And for me, at the very beginning was, oh my God, I don't want to use a timeline. And I made some tests. I went to London, to the headquarters. I made my first training, I think it was 2016 or 17.
Wow.
And I loved the system. And I said, oh, I need to try this.
Yeah.
And the evolution was super fast. At the very beginning, it was a media server for broadcast live events. But then I think a lot of people all over the world that start to shoot in rear screen projection, in camera VFX, and using these guys start to ask for color adjust, blurs, whatever.
Yeah.
All the layers that we have nowadays.
Today.
Yeah.
And you've made incredible recommendations for us while you were in our stage. So, it's constantly going to improve and cater to the needs of creatives. I think the ultimate goal is to build a platform that not just technicals, but creatives can count on to do the shot that they need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I know you have delivered quite a few shows to big streaming giants like Netflix, and you have a very small team.
Yeah, sure.
How do you do
very,
it?
Very small. Okay, in Spain we are. I think this last 2-3 years, we start to shoot more in virtual production, more in camera VFX, as we know just before, and the demand is growing and growing in Spain. So at the very beginning, I can shoot all the films or episodics myself. No problem with some freelance.
Yeah.
But the problem right now is all the platforms, on the indie films, wants to use this. Probably one day or probably 6 months. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I think we need to make some trainings, education there.
Yes.
Probably all over the world. But in Spain, I think it's really necessary. I need operators.
Do you want us to come over with the
Yeah,
accelerator?
You will
I
enjoy
think
it.
in a lot of ways, the accelerator is step one.
Yeah.
It gets you into the world, helps you understand the fundamental techniques.
Yeah.
To become David takes years,
Yeah.
tens of years.
Yeah, because virtual production accelerator program is really cool. But next step is people must go to the set.
Yes. Yeah.
With the pressure there,
Exactly.
Because the DOP wants something at the moment,
Yeah.
so you don't have time to think.
No.
You need to
Yeah.
do the things.
You need to problem solve.
Yes.
It's really encouraging for you to say that it sounds like the demand is certainly there,
Yeah.
and the technology, disguise, and the panels, content is there. I guess the missing piece is we don't have enough people, enough talent.
And the steps before making decisions of which kind of backgrounds we will use in our film.
Yeah,
It's not always 3D, it's not always 2D.
yeah,
We have 2.5D right now.
Right.
We need to make these decisions. And probably you are on set, and sometimes we are using Unreal in real time.
yes,
But I always said, give me a render, please. Because we don't know what could happen.
right,
And time,
yeah. You find
Well-
that it's very common to get a 2D render of 3D environments,
it's just a backup.
right?
Just not to stop the set.
Yeah, right.
Because probably your shoot at that very moment, the camera is static.
Yeah.
You don't need the parallax or whatever. So it helps to have the render,
Absolutely.
or
Yeah.
the sequence render.
Yeah,
Just a backup.
yeah.
Time is gold in the set.
I certainly believe that. And we try to instill a lot of that into the accelerator program. When we do the shoots, we're artificially creating the pressure of time, but there really is no pressure cooker environment other than a film set, right? You have
Yeah.
so many people that are getting paid what they're getting paid, and then every second actually equates to a number of dollars.
Sure. You have a lot of people in the set.
Right. So
If
even
you make a mistake, it's a lot of people that are earning money
earning
every
money,
second.
standing
You know.
around. I saw an example where you used a very intense practical light. I think it was an orbiter instead of an LED light, and you got to almost mimic the real sun.
Yes.
Talk us through that example.
Okay, it's a trick. It's a trick.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are shooting, for example, in a plane, you are shooting the sky, the clouds, and you have the sun there.
Right.
But you need more power. You need light. You need to relight the scene. So it's as easy as take off one tile
Yeah.
and put a LED light
Yeah.
on the back, not a tungsten light, because
Yeah.
if not, it's a problem.
It's too hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you turn on, the square tile disappears on the scene, and you have a real sun there
Right.
that is lighting the scene, and you can see that's the circle there. Yeah.
And the result is natural.
Yeah, super natural.
Can't tell. Can't tell that's fake.
Yeah, sure. I'm use tungsten lights, LED lights.
Yeah.
In Society of the Snow, you can see a scene with this trick.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
Talk me through Society of the Snow, because it sounds like there was a lot of practical snow in the stage that had to match the plate.
Yes.
And I know typically it's difficult to match or white balance your practical snow to the LED volume.
This was a really good job that we made together with the DOP, Pedro Luque, the gaffer, Danny Verge, and me. And also Laura, the VFX supervisor, because we have a ceiling of sky panels with diffusion. We have the LED panels, and all was white.
Yeah,
the plane was white. Yeah. Snow is white. The screen with the
but different shades of white.
Absolutely. So once you calibrate the screen, you need to calibrate the sky panels.
Yes.
But it's manually.
Yeah.
From you put the camera and the board operator was doing some tricks to adjust the whites.
Right.
So you need to adjust one by one to match. But always you make to do some in post with the edge of the real snow with the screen.
You need to blend a
little bit. It depends of the depth of field.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's out of focus. It doesn't matter. But if it's the white shoot, probably you need to match in post.
For Society of the Snow, was there a lot of plate usage or Unreal usage or mix of both?
We were using Unreal, but with a photogrammetry of Los Andes.
Oh, interesting.
El Ranchito made that job.
Yeah.
Really cool job.
Introduce us to El Ranchito for those of us who don't know.
El Ranchito is a VFX company based in Spain, and they have office in LA also.
Yeah.
And this is a really cool company.
Yeah.
And Felix Vergés, one of the founders and VFX supervisor of this film, also with Laura Pedro as a VFX supervisor.
Yeah.
Makes a really good job to achieve all the photogrammetry of Los Andes in different moments of the day for different light, real light there. And then we use these guys with render stream with Unreal scenes.
Yeah. It sounds like, even with the ability to build Los Angeles, using a computer artist, they still preferred photogrammetry. Why is that?
For light.
For light.
Yes, because at the very beginning they want to scan the mountain, apply textures, put more snow, and play with the sun. But it's not real.
Right.
So the director, Bayona, said they prefer the real light in the mountain.
Yeah.
So that's the reason they make different pictures in 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, 8.5, 10, 12,
They're
so
simulating
the real light.
Entire day in a stage using the same photogrammetry asset.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
And walk us through the actual historical story that the movie is based on.
It's about an aircraft in 1972 in Los Andes, about a rugby team. They crashed there, and the survivors in one moment need to eat the dead ones to survive.
Yeah.
It was really hard.
Yeah.
So the story, it's a real story.
Yeah.
That
and I think at the time
knows.
It was a big story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of them start to walk to find help.
Yeah.
And go back for the survivors. It's wow. It's a very hard movie.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's incredible that you can tell a story which inherently sounds like it should be shot outdoors. Right? You have a plane wreckage, big plane, I'm sure, big outdoor shots, wide shots, and a lot of that was done in a stage.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. We built the stage in the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, sure. But we talk about money. So you can have a plane in the mountain and a plane closer to the mountain in the stage.
Yes.
So all the stuff is there.
Yeah.
You don't need to move different.
And then camera-wise and sort of cinematography gear-wise, what were we looking at?
Sorry?
What kind of camera, lenses?
Arri Mini LF I can't remember the lenses right now.
Yeah.
It was 2 years ago, the shooting, and
Sure.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no problem. And as far as practical production design goes, what was the process of matching the virtual world to what's on set?
It's the all made in camera. Just taking a look, all the team, VFX supervisors, DOP, all the people looking in a calibrated monitor to adjust this.
During that shoot, and I know you had some of these thoughts, did you think about a couple of things that could be better about virtual production?
Wait.
Maybe a long list. Yeah.
In that film or in general?
I think for Society of the Snow first, and then I'll open up to in general.
Okay.
Okay.
What could be better? Probably has more panels, because finally with a L shape you can cover one side of the plane but not the other.
Yeah.
The problem is we need to put cranes, cameras, lighting equipment.
Yeah.
So it was impossible to cover the whole plane.
You almost, I feel like every VP shoot that I see, there's this inevitable need to cover the entire thing with a volume. You want to surround.
It's impossible.
You need the light, the reflection.
Sure.
Right.
I was shooting a bus some months ago.
Yeah.
And I need to create a U shape to cover the whole vehicle.
Yeah.
But not the front.
Right.
Because we need to put the bus, quit the bus, turn the bus. But we create like a small screen with an structure with wheels to put just in front.
Yeah. So
just a reference for the driver, or making some light reflections inside the bus.
Oh, I see.
Because
so it wasn't
handheld,
in camera. The in camera was all the
bus. Yeah, it was handheld, moving around the people inside.
Yeah.
So we need to create this screen.
Yeah.
It's not just the curve of 180, it's an U-shaped with two sides.
Yeah. And was that driving plate?
Yeah, sure.
So
360.
That's incredible, because we were just at the Kubrick announcement, and 2.5D, Unreal, we have so many tool sets, and yet driving plate continues to be so widely used. Why do you think that is?
Because it's super complicated to have the reality with Unreal or with Kubrick or whatever. And I think the driving plates, we have really cool cameras right now.
We're in the golden age of cameras.
Absolutely.
We have incredible
small cameras with a great resolution.
Yeah.
And we have a really cool plates.
Talk us through your process car a little bit.
Our car process is super simple.
Okay.
Production company asked to use the volume to shoot cars. So he's shooting with the whole system. It depends on the budget. We are using 4 cameras, 6 cameras, or 8 cameras.
Yeah.
Usually I prefer to shoot with single plates, not the stitched one.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Do you do the stitch outside of disguise, or when you bring it into disguise?
No, outside in disguise.
Outside of disguise.
There's a Spanish company, it's Mystica VR.
Yeah.
They have a great software to stitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible tool.
It's fascinating to me. So I was talking to Plate Pros, as you know, big driving plate vendor.
Yeah.
We have conversations with drivingplates.com, Brownian, and there's quite a few companies now that are incredibly sophisticated.
Sure.
They are masters in not just image processing and camera capture, but also robotics, right? A lot of driving plates are now using robotic stabilized rigs. They're building custom vehicles. So it's really interesting to see the evolution of that, and also all of the other choices. The evolution of 2.5D, of Unreal, and of generative AI. So we're living in fascinating times.
Absolutely. And you must think in Spain, you need permissions to shoot on the streets if all your rig is outside the car.
Right.
So Carlo designed a car with all the system inside the car.
And the other common sort of thread that I see is the geolocation data in conjunction with the video plate data. So the video plate knows where it is on a map, let's say.
Sure.
And then the other thing that is going to blow a lot of people's mind is, I think you were telling me this, is the camera metadata has the gyroscope motion data,
Yes.
which the image stabilization software can use to stabilize.
Yeah, sure. Because the system, the physical system, it's a great to stabilize the whole plates.
Right.
But the small ones, the micro vibrations, it doesn't.
Right.
So you need that info to adjust in post.
Yeah. It's almost like you're making the cleanest, most sterile, most unartistic almost representation of the real world.
Yeah.
Has to be free of motion blur or minimize motion blur. Has to have as high of a dynamic range as possible. Has to have high frame rate. And then you bring it into the stage. And what's the process like? What does a DP generally do to adjust the driving plate?
Okay. We are using the Commodos. Mm-hmm. So the dynamic range is so huge.
Yeah.
And it's global shutter that it helps to use the plates in the studio. And the process is very simple. Once the plates are decided, assured, and the director and the DOP decide which one wants to use, sorry, Carlos make the renders to me, exporting in log to Node.jl-C, the codec we use in these guys.
Yeah.
And I have all this stuff in the servers. So at the very beginning, we just put the plate on the screen, put the IDT that we need to use, white gamut from red, and the DOP puts the camera, and he wants to shoot in 2.0 iris or 4 or whatever, and we adjust the exposure of the plate in the camera. Then we put the rest of the screen, the lights, whatever. We make the final adjustments and shot. Obviously, we need to adjust the perspective, right?
So the first step seems like is getting the driving plate onto the wall with the correct color pipeline.
Yes.
That's your step one. And then step two is to have the in-camera look at the wall.
And adjust exposure.
Adjust exposure. And then third is practical.
Not the camera, the plate.
The plate.
Yeah.
And finally, the third step is to match practical lighting.
Yeah.
So in a driving plate scenario, do you find yourself using a lot of practical lighting?
Yes, sure. We mix practical lights and panels, and LED panels to light.
Okay.
So we used LED panels to light with the semi-sync. It's perfectly sync. And then if sometimes by night also you have traffic lights, street lights, or whatever. We use LED tubes or sky panels, or also tungsten lights, small ones, to make some effects.
Yeah, it seems like
reality is
you just want to give the in-camera just more interest and more dynamic range to work with.
Absolutely. You have a lot of shadows and lights inside the car.
Right.
You know, it's not just the background and a static light to the actor.
I've seen some
so fake.
I've seen some bad driving plates, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And again, like you have been doing driving plates for years and years and years, so it is a lot of trial and error. Walk us through what you would think we can improve on with driving plates. And when I say we, maybe it's the whole industry, not just Disguise or the driving plate manufacturers.
Okay, so I think a lot of the OPs comes from the green screen. That is great. And they can move around the car with no problem. And they want to use in-camera VFX in that way. So difficult because of the perspective and, you know. Is
there a sort of a playground you have in Spain where you can go and you can test these things?
Yeah, we don't have the real system. So we have the volume, but we don't have the small things to do that.
And you know, one thing that always it bothers me a little bit is when I see a lot of driving plate in movies, they forget to put in maybe camera shake or the natural sort of swaying of the car. How do you address for that during a shoot?
If you have a gimbal, you can do that perfectly. But the problem is your zero is 100.5 probably. So all the team must work in another height.
Yeah.
But the gimbal is perfect because you can shake the people and move around.
Yeah.
You know.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what about in post? Once the DP is done, the image goes into an editor, or let's say a colorist in Resolve. What is that like?
I'm usually not in post.
Not in post, yeah.
When there is a problem, yes, they call me. But usually I'm not in post because the idea of in-camera VFX is avoid the post.
Or very little post.
To shoot there and go directly to the editor. If you want to save money, you need to shoot there and forgot
and you're done.
Post-product. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sometimes you need VFX, but you know at the very beginning you need VFX there.
Yeah.
But if not, it goes directly to the editor.
Absolutely. And, we talked a little bit about the relationship between virtual production and VFX. It feels like there really is a world where the two things are more or less seamless.
Yeah, it's a must to meet each other because VP is a new tool for VFX.
Right.
It's not competence or different. Yeah. It's a new tool.
Yeah.
Green screen was a tool. VP is a
new tool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, for me, yeah.
Yeah, and like companies...
And you can mix both together,
Absolutely.
Green screen and the volume.
Do you do much green screen in the volume?
Yeah, sometimes you need to use.
Right.
Because you need to add some VFX so you have all the volume and what the camera sees, green screen, we all see the Mandalorian. They use it, so it's not a secret.
Yeah. And
it's a must.
The green screen is going to be much better than like a traditional painted wall.
Or if you want to use a focused image, you can focus the screen.
Yeah, you'll start to get
in that case, you need to use this kind of tricks.
Yeah.
So they can be lived together.
Talk to us through what a VFX company like El Ranchito and how they are adapting VP into their company.
As a new tool, because sometimes they need to replace a background or whatever in an apartment or something like this.
Yeah.
Not only Ranchito, the rest of the companies
Absolutely.
in Spain.
Yeah.
We have a lot of companies there, great companies that they are using VP as a tool. So instead of use the green screen and then you have a team replacing the backgrounds.
Tediously.
Yeah. It's a lot of money also.
It's a lot of work.
Directly put a screen outside the apartment.
Yeah.
With the content, you have a great content the whole day, the lights, and also you can go outside the apartment and shoot inside with reflections of the city.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
it's a no-brainer.
Imagine this in VFX. It's a lot of people working, putting the reflections and whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Yeah, it is definitely the evolution of green screen, and I think you're absolutely right. VFX is looking at VP like a tool. Around the world, I have conversations with big VFX companies like Framestore or DNEG or Rodeo VFX or Scanline, and they all seem to have one thing in common. They now have VP specialists inside, people that understand walls.
Sure.
People that understand real-time rendering, people that understand plates. So it is heading in that direction.
And take the best decision to use one or another.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your choices are endless, right? How you shoot one shot.
Yeah.
You can go outside and shoot it. You can shoot it in green. You can shoot it on a volume, right? So
Sure.
And then what also fascinates me is if you really take a step back, you have the streaming giants and the big studios, your Warner Brothers, your Disney, your Netflix, your Amazon, and so on. And there seems to be a lot of interest around VP from all of them.
Yeah, sure.
Why do you think that is?
Because they are saving money.
It's all about money.
Yeah, it's always all about money. Yeah. I think you have a really good results with less money. It seems it's more money because you need to pay the volume and a new team.
Yeah.
But if you make some numbers, thinking in post,
Yeah.
you are saving money.
I also have another thought in it on top of that. I think you're absolutely right. They're always looking at the bottom line. They're making hundreds and thousands of shows, right? So on top of that, there is a efficiency of time. The timeline shrinks when there is less things to do in post. So what one season would take, let's say 6 months, 1 year to do, and now you can do one season in 2 months. Well, maybe even if it's the same amount of money, now you can do 3 seasons in a year and
Yes.
just get more out there.
Or in driving plate sequences, for example, you are shooting outside in different locations, and at the end of the shoot, in 3 months or 6 months, you can spend 1 week to make all the driving plates
Yeah,
in the studio.
right.
You know, you don't need to make every day you are in a real location.
Yeah,
You can spend 1, 2, or 3 days, the last week of the shoot,
yeah,
and make all the sequences there.
right.
You know,
Yeah, it's
take
very
all the actors there, or one, I don't know, when,
Yeah.
wherever you need. So it's super cool.
And also the third benefit I think a lot of people don't think about, and I'm sure you'll agree, is you've been on shoots outside and you've traveled for shoots, and how nice is it to be in a soundstage with the entire crew, with the right type of environment and the light for hours and hours and hours.
Well, I think it's better to work outside, but
Yeah,
I think it's great to could stay in the studio.
yeah,
It doesn't matter, it's dark and with a lot of panels, you know.
yeah.
But it helps to the production.
From a management perspective, it
Sure.
feels a lot easier to manage a
Yeah.
team that goes to a soundstage for, let's say, a week before they move on and go on location, right?
Yeah, and make your test. The advantage is you can go to the studio
Yeah.
just before to start to shoot, make the test you need, and then, okay, we start to shoot on the outside,
Yeah.
different locations, and when you come back to the stage, you know that it works.
Yeah.
You know, testing is very important.
Testing is very important.
Yeah.
And I think, as a matter of fact, a lot of VP productions don't take that into account.
Yeah.
And they're, like camera pre-light days. That's really important. Even just putting your driving plate up on a wall.
Yeah, just put the
playback.
the content in the server.
Yeah,
It's minutes, it's time.
it's time.
It's not instantly.
Right, right.
You're talking about terabytes of material.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Sure.
exactly. Talk to us through one of the cinematographers that I'm absolutely fascinated by, Miguel.
Mega.
Yeah, from Money Heist.
Yeah.
You've had a chance to work with him many times, I'm sure.
Yeah, reality is the last episodic that they shoot, it is Berlin, the spin-off of Money Heist. And we met each other and we start to talk about virtual production.
Yeah.
Because he said that he prefers rear screen projection or green screen or reality. So we talk about to make some tests. Last year in Spain, we are doing a post-production summit with Netflix, because Netflix is always and pushing in virtual production, and,
Yes.
and they help us a
Yeah.
lot with different tools.
They're definitely,
Yeah.
one of the accelerants of virtual production in the world, and we're very thankful that we have, a great relationship with the team
Yeah, sure.
and a lot of experts, a lot of knowledge there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In LA, in UK, in Spain, it's a lot of really cool people
yes,
with big knowledge about this. So
and they believe in it.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So we met with Miguel in this summit, and he decided to use virtual production in Berlin, but they were shooting the episodics in Paris and in Madrid. So we enter in, I think it was episode 5, I can't remember. And we decided to make some tests before. So we spent like 2 months doing different things, also driving plates, but scenes with Unreal, exterior locations, a lot of things they think we can use in the volume.
Right.
And the result was really good. So we have another big project for next year with them. because Miguel loves the system right now.
He's a believer.
Yeah, sure.
So he went from somebody that was using other tool sets to now love virtual production.
Yes, it's one of... we talk about to use the squares on the screen to light.
Yeah.
And
light cards.
Light cards for you, but Miguel said, we need to put a name on this. And he created the name of VP Lights.
VP Lights.
Yes, virtual production lights.
I think I like that better than light cards.
Yeah. So it was, oh my God.
Yeah.
9 years using this, but I never put a name.
Yes.
So Miguel is an amazing guy.
He's great.
Yeah.
I'm just fascinated by cinematographers at the very top of their game that are doing the most prolific shows on the planet and what their creative process is like. And what fascinates me is they can dictate the terms of the shoot, right? They can say, this is not going to work for me. I need to go outside.
But Miguel is one of the guys that you have an idea and said, you can use this, and automatically says yes. Another DOP is probably with, no, I prefer to use my lights from my console or wherever.
Yeah.
But I remember a scene with sunrise, and we used a Par 64, as the sunlight. And it was mapped directly in disguise, and when the unreal scenes appear, the sun, this Par-Can turns on, and the light was really nice in the scene.
Yeah.
So he sent me, you can do that? It's not a LED fixture. They don't have DMX. Yes. You have a dimmer.
Yeah.
You have DMX. So we can map as a single white pixel. Doesn't matter.
Right.
And it's perfectly synced with the scene.
Yeah. So when the scene has a sunrise, they read the pixel and then they light the real light.
Sure.
Yes. That is done in disguise?
Yes.
What is that process called?
Pixel mapping.
Explain to the viewers what pixel mapping is.
Pixel mapping is as easy as use a video in a lighting fixture. It doesn't matter which is the lighting fixture. A bulb, a tungsten light, a LED panel, like sky panels or tubes or whatever. Mm-hmm. I done my first pixel mapping in 2006 with a small aluminum plate with RGB LEDs.
Yeah.
I think it was like 3,000 of them.
Yeah.
To make a big cyclorama. It's okay for you.
Yeah.
The big wall with light, and it was like different textures with pixel mapping there. It was for a broadcast show in Spain. It was.
You made
really
the
cool.
panel yourself?
No. A company made the panels, and the production designer decides to create this kind of set.
Yeah.
It was a talent show of singers in Spain that was very famous since 2001. And in 2006, I started to work with media servers in that show. Yeah. And I make my first pixel mapping. I used 1,300 bulbs in another show. Each one was a pixel. Yeah. And we sent a video in the bulbs.
Must be very hot.
Yeah. It was like 5 days drawing the pixels and putting the address. It was,
so you manually programmed each pixel?
Yes.
Wow.
And the whole system, it was like drawing the exact part of the single pixel, because it's not the big ones, it was bulbs, single white pixels.
You developed the OG KinoFlow Mimic.
Sorry?
The OG in America, it means like classic.
Oh, yeah.
The classic sort of lighting fixture that we have today, that is driven by a LED processor.
Yeah, sure.
Very sophisticated, very, very good.
Yeah, it's really cool. The Mimics from KinoFlow, I think it's a new tool to use in virtual production with a really good quality of the lighting.
Absolutely. And
it's pixel mapped. Yeah. Directly. It's a LED panel, but it's a light.
And it's so much easier than DMX mapping when it's, treated like a video, right?
Yeah, sure.
The other big excitement around LED panels is RGBW.
Yes.
And tell us why you think that's a big deal.
Skin tones. It's really impressive how just a white pixel can light a real tone for the skin.
Yeah.
So Mimic is another, and it's more. I don't know how to say, because it's RGB, cool white and warm white. So they have 2 white pixels.
RGB WW.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's, oh my God.
Right. Exactly.
10,000 nits. So.
Oh, you can really pack a punch.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I mean, we are in today's VP world. We have the notion that there's the wall, those are LED tiles, and then that is a light, that is an orbiter, or that's a mimic, and so on. In the future, it feels like it's just going to be one thing.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
Because the control systems, like Disguise, are treating both things equally as well. Mm-hmm. And if you can put a VP light or a light card up, and you want that VP light or light card to be a practical light, it would be just a matter of seconds.
Yeah, right? And it's the same source of light.
Same source of light.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we have difference in the RGB panels on the back with the RGBs, amber whites on the lights.
Yeah.
So you can match better the light with this kind of fixed the VP lights on the screen.
What do you think your prediction is for how lighters will be using all of the new tool sets?
I don't really know. I assume the DOPs gaffers need to know what is on the market, and what can they use, and think that they can use all of these lights directly in the server, because if you are using these guys in the set, you can manipulate of the lights. So they need to know. We need education for the operators, but we need education for the DOPs and the gaffers also.
Absolutely.
They need to know all the tools that they have on the set.
Yeah.
Not just I have a light and a console and I put this and that's it.
Yeah. Like pixel mapping is a very important
great
tool.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then fixtures like the Mimic are they're almost like a hybrid between the two worlds.
Yes. Absolutely. And you can merge the signals. You can use a lighting console, you can use the media server and merge both signals for the light. And sometimes it's better to use directly from the console. Sometimes it's better to use the video.
Yes.
It's as easy as this.
Yeah.
I think all my experience in the past in broadcast, using this kind of things, it's very useful for me right now in films. You know, I'm using that tools in another world.
Absolutely.
But it's pretty cool. We made a lot of merging signals with a friend of mine who operates the lighting console. Magic panels, moving lights, whatever. So sometimes it's better to put a color and movements or whatever, or sometimes we can map all the lights and make a great effect. Mm-hmm. You know, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's all about tools.
It's like a paintbrush. You have 10 different paintbrushes. It's up to you to paint the picture. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I pick this one or this one. This is better or this is not.
Yeah. Looking even further down the pipe, we talked a little bit about nerfs and Gaussian splats. And what are your thoughts on those things?
Really cool. It's the very beginning.
Yes.
I remember we started to talk about nerfs last year, and we never used on set.
Yeah.
And when we decide to start to use, appears the Gaussian splats. And Gaussian splats are growing each hour. It's crazy.
Shout out to Volinga.
Volinga started with the nerfs, and now it's working with the Gaussians.
Splats, yeah.
And quality is not as good as a plate.
Not yet.
Now, not yet.
Yeah.
But sometimes we are out of focus on the screen, so it could help to have this kind of content there, and it works.
Yeah,
we're doing some tests right now, and wow, it works.
You're getting the parallax.
Yeah, you're getting the parallax, and
you're no longer sort of like all the limitations of 2D plates is it's so perspective locked. You feel like with nerfs, it's more like a 3D scene almost.
Yes, sure.
Right. So you can put the camera anywhere.
If you have closer objects and far objects, it's really cool.
Yeah. And then also it feels like a lot of the creators, like your director or your DP, they prefer real life stuff anyway.
The most important thing is that what you see in the camera, it seems to reality, the color match perfectly with the scene. And it doesn't matter if it's a 2D plate or 2.5D or 3D, because it's real good Unreal artists that are creating a really good scenes.
Yeah.
So what do you need?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you decide one or the other, but the final shot must be as most real as we can.
100%. And, a lot of times capturing reality is not good enough, right? For example, if you have a period piece, let's say 1930s Los Angeles, you're not going to get a nerve to edit into that. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, you need to recreate the city 100 years ago.
Yeah.
You need to make it in 3D.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Talk us through
and
one
it
of
works.
Yeah.
You see in the screen and you see the film, it works.
Yeah. Right.
If you magnify the scene and look the car or the people, you said, well, this is fake.
Yeah.
But you need to enjoy the film.
Yes.
And believe that this is LA in the 30s.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's the suspension of disbelief in that case. Talk us a little bit about Marlowe. I know you worked on that a little bit.
Yeah, this is the good example. We shot that film in Barcelona and the towns near. And the story happens in LA in the 30s.
Yeah.
And I work in the driving plates there. And the VFX company recreate a part of LA in 3D.
Wow.
Based on books and images, pictures. And they create a perfect loop, a seamless loop of 4 streets with cars, with lights, with the buildings. And we have an infinite loop that you can see it or not, but the result was really good.
Yeah.
So we can shoot different shots from the front, the sides with reflections.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool.
Right. So it was an Unreal scene, yes?
Yes, I think it was a mix of Unreal and Maya and different 3D softwares that they create this one.
And did it come into the set as a 3D environment or 2D renders?
2D renders.
2D renders,
yes,
from the 3D world.
Yeah. One for back, front, sides, different.
So
renders.
it's like driving plates.
Yeah.
From a 3D world.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
You have your scene, your sequence, put different cameras, and perfectly sync.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see why you would pre-render it and bring it in as a driving plate because the workflow is the same, right? So you understand how to do driving plates really well. You don't really want to edit the Unreal scene if you don't have to.
No. Yeah.
Right. And so
because we have one screen in the back and one in the side and one for reflections. So it's different content at the same time, and you need to adjust different exposures or positions or whatever. You know, what will happen if we use 3 render nodes with 3 render streams? It's more money for a simple scene of a tiny shoot of a car in LA. You know, so
and
it's
also
the best choice. Use the renders.
That is brilliant because it also reminds you that it's all about speed, velocity on set. You want to just load the plate, shoot it, next plate, shoot it.
We said, tiempo es oro, time is gold. Literally said, you need to go fast.
Right.
Make a good job, but as faster as you can.
That's fantastic. And then before I forget, I do want to talk about the Disguise Kubrick integration. We had a wonderful event. You were in attendance. As a creator and as somebody who's in touch with a lot of creators, how do you think this will be used, or is it ready, or what do you think? What are some predictions?
At this moment, I think it's as a concept, it's perfect. You have your different depth with the layers, and you can create with prompts at the same time. But your integration of 2.5D layer and Kubrick, you can use all the stuff you have of all shoots with different layers and put it on the system with a single layer, and you can work. Also, you can put in Kubrick and make the depth and the meshes.
You can take
use there
pre-existing image, put it into Kubrick, and it'll separate out the layers, which is so time saving.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. We know Kubrick is AI, so it's not reality, but it helps.
It helps.
But if you can use your own contents in Kubrick to make the depth, and then use it in disguise directly in the screen, it really rocks.
100%. A lot of people probably don't, realize how much work can be done with still images,
Yeah, sure.
right? Because it's what we call, matte backgrounds, matte painting, just simple backgrounds.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And then if you need, let's say in that simple background, you need something moving like clouds moving through or cars on the freeway or whatnot, then you can add that as another layer on top.
Yeah, 2.5D. It's a new concept that is super interesting.
It's really taken off. We have a lot of customers in the U.S. that are using it. They've given us incredible feedback, which went into this first build that we released. And, at Disguise, we're always improving based on what our customers want, right? So R26 is out there. You're going to use it, I'm sure. Whatever you tell us, what works, what doesn't work, comes right back.
Yeah.
And we keep further improving it.
Yeah, you have a great team, and the community that uses Disguise is really incredible.
Yeah.
So the inputs from everybody are great for the rest.
Yeah. Yeah, the nice thing about the Disguise community is that we have a mixture of, as you know, live events operators from the live world. We have broadcasters, and now we have film and TV folks like yourselves. And that mixture of values and ideas on one platform is really unique. I don't think any other tech manufacturer has the cross-section of the media and entertainment industry like we do. Yeah,
you use the same system for different industry, but using a lot of similar elements.
And each industry and each use case, they have their own priorities. I'm sure you'll agree that in film, it's all about quality.
Yeah.
If the shot doesn't look good, I'm sorry, you're going to have to reshoot it.
Yeah, but we are talking about quality or speed or whatever. You have different codes, notch or hub or whatever.
Yeah.
In films you need to use as much better as you can. So notch is really good, or DPX sequences are quite good.
Right.
You can use hub in film.
Yeah.
But you can use in live events.
Absolutely.
You have a lot of videos at the same time.
Yeah.
With big resolutions, and it plays. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I have yet to see Notch, the render engine being used in film. Have you done any work with Notch?
No.
Not yet.
No, just the codec.
Yeah, just the codec. Yes.
To encode our plates, yeah.
Yeah. And then have you seen any sort of XR usage for film?
In less than a year or we can use this kind of things.
I think so too.
Yeah, because we need floor.
Yes.
And not real floor. We need a virtual floor sometimes. It could be very helpful in some shoots.
It could be practical set dressing on top of virtual floor.
Yeah.
So dirt and snow or whatnot on top of LED.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think ultimately XR and VP are going to merge and be one thing when set extensions and AR objects are cinematic.
Working on cinematic cameras.
Cinematic quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. That, I mean, imagine that future.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can
I
do
think it's there.
It's there, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's not far. It's here.
You'll get us there.
I don't know if me or somebody in the community, but
you're very humble guy, dude.
Yeah, but this is what I said. It's one man in Australia is saying something, and the rest of the world is, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
The other one from LA, another one from Spain, and all is helping the others. So the community is so super important.
Community is super important.
Yeah.
That's one of my big goals, is to just nurture the community and get to know everybody and listen.
Yeah.
The other aspect of our community, aside from the fact that we have the different industries, is the global nature of it. You're sitting here, you just came from Spain. I just came back from South Korea. And the goals and aspirations of the Disguise community is the same. They all strive for quality, for creativity, and for delivery.
Yeah.
We're almost at the end of our podcast. Is there anything that you want to talk about?
I think we talk about everything, about future, about past, about present.
Yeah.
So go ahead with the system. Give us new tools.
Thank you.
And I said we need new things. I hope next versions we have all of these small tricks.
Yeah.
But they save a lot of time for us. Sometimes we are thinking in big, new things, the revolution of new tools. But sometimes the small things...
Incremental changes is sometimes the best.
We talk about presets or doing some things by default in the system.
Yeah.
These kind of things save a lot of time for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. These kind of things are that community can say to you, I think this guys is a company that listen to the people. And in two versions, inside the same version, you have the things there. So thank you, and go ahead with this for us. That the tools that you use must help you, not convert to a nightmare. So I always say these guys changed my life because my life is better, it's easier, it's more calm.
Yeah.
You don't have problems on set, and it's super powerful.
Good.
So my choice was because,
Yeah.
oh my God.
We actually have a word for that, and it is, letting you abstract away the technical complexity from the creative execution. So with Disguise, it feels like you don't really have to worry about the finer technical details.
Mm-hmm.
You can focus on what's really important.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I do want to give a huge shout out to Spotify Los Angeles team for hosting us here. This is such a dream come true to be in the same studio as a lot of the podcasts that I watch. So thank you, Spotify.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's it, David. Thank you for coming to LA. We really appreciate you coming
You're welcome,
all the
and
way
thank
here.
you very much to you to invite me to come here and spend these days with you.
Absolutely.
Learning, teaching, sharing knowledge. So it's amazing. Thank you very much.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening and watching the podcast. Thank you.